Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today you can see straight away we are looking at an incredibly awesome Jurassic Park product, and this is a Mini-Co. I don't really know too much about the company or anything, but I do know that these were initially created by Iron Studios, so it's really cool now to have something from Iron Studios in my collection. But it is a really cool looking Velociraptor figure, and I absolutely love seeing the Jurassic Park logo right there. But you can see the figure overall. This is kind of an example of what it looks like inside. Looks really cool, but at the same time pretty goofy, but I've really wanted to get a hold of one of these for a while now, and straight away I'm super psyched about this figure because honestly here in person it's way better looking already than I expected it to be, and the box overall is just absolutely amazing. Look at the beautiful artwork here of this Velociraptor here on the side, and then if we actually turn it around to the back, you can see the other figures that are included in the line, which have Ian Malcolm, Alan Grant, John Hammond, of course the Velociraptor, and there is actually a Tyrannosaurus Rex as well, which I hope to get a hold of very soon and review for you guys here on the channel. And then back here on the back, again you can see Mini-Co right there, and then Iron Studios showing you that they are actually the creators of the figure. And then over here we just have a little bit of the window that you have the figure in there hiding amongst its windowed prison, but we can't really see it through here. When I shine the camera on it, the glare is just way too bad. So we're going to go ahead, break this out of the box, and we'll get a look at it from there. So here is the actual Velociraptor figure itself. And straight away, you can see that it obviously doesn't exactly resemble the Jurassic Park Velociraptor as far as the sculpt goes, because again, it is a bit exaggerated, a bit cartoonish, but I think that's kind of the point of the figure. So once you take that into consideration, you can really see that it does look very cool. It has a beautiful Jurassic Park logo up there. The Velociraptor itself looks really quite awesome, and one thing I'm super excited to see here is that the spoon that you see in the kitchen scene with the Velociraptors in Jurassic Park is actually right here, and so that looks really cool. Such a very cool addition to this set, giving it such a very nostalgic type of a feel. I think that was an awesome little touch that they added in there. But let's go ahead, get a closer look at the figure, and check out the detailing up close. So starting up here at the head sculpt, you can see that it's not like overly sculpted like you would find on a lot of figures, a lot of more dinosaur model type figures, but you can see that there is some pretty nice looking skin texture for the most part. You've got some really nice scaling all over the face, but it does become kind of muted in certain places. But I don't think they were really setting out to impress with the fine details of the Velociraptor with this figure. Again, it's just kind of made to be like a goofy looking Jurassic Park style Velociraptor, so I can completely accept the fact that, again, it's not as highly detailed as you would see on most figures. You can actually see that there is some pretty nice scaling up here on the top, and one thing that is pretty cool is they actually have kind of like a dark wash that shows up in certain places. You can kind of see it here in the palette of the Raptor, and you can see kind of some of the scales just creeping out and really starting to become a little more defined when you look at them due to that dark wash. So it is really cool that they included a dark wash. That wash is also present up here on the nostrils. As you can really see, the nostrils are quite elaborated thanks to that wash. If you take a look at the underside here, as far as the lower jaw, you can see that they've kind of given like a dry brushing, a light, almost like a khaki type of a dry brushing to give the lower jaw some color variation. You can see the lips are present on the Velociraptor, and if you look under here, you can see the teeth are also kind of painted out there. I don't know that they're actually sculpted out, but they are painted there regardless. One of the best features, I think, of the face, it's something you've probably already picked up on, is the really cool looking eye. The eye has a very nice gloss coat to it, so it shines quite realistically, and the eye in general looks very similar to the eyes of the Jurassic Park Velociraptors. So they did do a really good job on the eye, the detailing of the eye, that beautiful slit style appearance to the eye, that very predator-like appearance to the eyes. I think it was a perfectly done eye as far as that goes. They are very much so perfectly placed as well, and again, that gloss coat on them makes them look just overall fantastic. You've got a black ring around the eye, again for some color difference and really elaborating the eye just that little bit more. As you start to move down the neck, you can see lots and lots of skin wrinkling showing up right here, and that is due to the Velociraptor having its head turned to the right. If you look over on the opposing side, you can see lots of creasing in the skin as you run down the neck, but you don't see wrinkling going on quite like you see over here, there's definitely a lot more going on. So Iron Studios did do a good job as far as showing the movement of the dinosaur, even in something that's just kind of a goofy looking Velociraptor. They did take the time to really give it a good amount of detail, kind of showing off the movement there in the neck, so that was really nice. The skin texture also looks quite good in the neck, and you can see nice color variation as you move down the body. You've got quite a few different variations of brown, so it does help to give it a nice look as far as skin texture, and you've also got some really nice stripes that kind of run the entire length of the animal, and it's all applied very nicely, very naturally. Once you get down here into the shoulder area, you can see the nicely muscular arms here as we lead out into those beautiful Velociraptor hands. The hands don't look exactly like you see on the Jurassic Park Velociraptors, but I think they look pretty darn good regardless. A little bit of an alien type of an appearance to it. It does have some nice scoots that run along the fingers there. Then as you move back the body, you can see the spinal column quite nicely. It has kind of like an osteoderm type appearance to it. Actually, there's a few little osteoderms here and there on the upper part of the body. You can see the seam where the leg is connected, as well as the arm, but again, these aren't meant to be very highly accurate Jurassic Park Velociraptor figures, so I don't really mind seams like that when it comes to things like this. Really nicely defined musculature. Again, the calf muscle specifically is quite exaggerated. It has a very, very large calf muscle. It's definitely an in-shape Velociraptor. As we move down into the foot, you can see the scoot-like appearance once again. Very nicely painted toenails, and you can also take note of the sickle claw over there. They actually also have the dew claws back here, and they are painted quite nicely. Overall, the paint application doesn't appear to have any sloppiness whatsoever to it, really. And then we run out the length of the tail. You can see some more really nice skin texture. Beautiful curve to the tail as well, and you can actually take note to the fact that there's like this light linen type color here, then you have like a yellowish brown, and then a darker brown the further up into the body you get. So the paint job is actually really nicely done and quite faithful to what you do see on the Velociraptors in the film. So in my opinion, it really kind of speaks volumes for Iron Studios and just how much quality they do put into their products, even if they are goofy looking versions of the actual dinosaurs themselves. Taking a look at this side, you can see some more very nice skin texture as we move along the body. You can kind of see some like skin folding and skin creasing and stuff right around the shoulder area there, or the joint of the arm where it connects to the body there, the base of the arm. Some more really nice skin texture here. You can pick up on a few more of those osteoderms as you move back here into the body. Once again, there's the seam where the leg connects, but you can really see how muscular this leg is as well, just like the previous leg. And then there's the very nicely sculpted out Velociraptor foot over here. You've got that really cool spoon that looks to be painted really nicely and definitely has that exact look to it as the spoon did in the film, so I really think they did a good job overall on the accuracy of that. And then we move out the length of the tail. Once again, really nice paint application, honestly, and beautiful detailing of the tail itself. Really nice skin texture. You can see lots of creasing in the skin, especially right here as it starts to really bend. So beautiful attention paid to the movement of the animal, and you can also pick up on the nice striping that does run down the body. So overall, I think it's actually a really beautiful looking Velociraptor figure. Again, it's obviously not meant to be accurate to what you see in the film, but it's still really cool looking regardless. The base itself just has kind of like a gravel type of an appearance. It's nothing more than a grayish color, so there's no tones of color or anything to that. But you've got that really nice Jurassic Park logo right here in the front. That is also quite beautifully painted and just overall looks fantastic, honestly. And then if we look at the underside, we've got all the information about the Raptor and the Mini-Co figure itself, again created by Iron Studios, and all of that very, very cool stuff. So this Velociraptor figure is actually really quite top-notch, and I am definitely a pretty big fan of it. As far as a size goes on our Mini-Co Velociraptor, since it has its tail curved quite sharply here, and in general the body is kind of curved, you're not going to get too far of a length, about 5.5 inches, or about 14.5 centimeters, somewhere in that range. For a height to the top of the head, you're going to see it at about 4.5 inches, or around 11.5, almost 12 centimeters. And to the top of the tail here, again, similar, about 4 and probably about 4.25, maybe a little over, or about 11 centimeters, maybe 11.5. The tail height and the head height are very similar in the height department for sure. The base itself has a length at about 5.5 inches, or about 14 centimeters. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, and Robert Muldoon looking right at home with his Velociraptor buddy. And I will say, actually, Robert Muldoon standing there with the Velociraptor has a very cool appearance, and I really quite like those two together. I think displaying Robert Muldoon honestly looks perfect with this Velociraptor. It really does look quite cool, but regardless, if you happen to have any of these figures, you'll hopefully have a good idea that this Velociraptor has a pretty decent size. It's not very small, it's not overly large either though. Definitely a really cool and very nicely sized Velociraptor figure. So this Minico Iron Studios Jurassic Park style Velociraptor is really cool. It's actually much nicer than I expected it to be. I figured it would end up being a pretty darn nice figure, but honestly I didn't expect it to be quite as nice as it is in person. It really does look beautiful. Of course, like I said at the beginning of the review, the sculpt is quite exaggerated. The overall body doesn't look like a Jurassic Park Velociraptor much at all, but you can definitely tell that it is in fact just that. The paint application, however, is actually really nicely done. I feel like there's a lot of different tones of brown included and the nice black stripes that run along the entire body. It definitely has a very cool, very faithful appearance as far as the paint application goes to the Jurassic Park Velociraptor. So Iron Studios did do a really good job, honestly, on the paint apps of the figure. The sculpt isn't highly detailed as far as like the scaling and skin texture and everything. Certain areas like the creases in the tail and the creases in the neck and even the scaling up on the top of the head are really nicely done, but there are some other areas like the palate area and just different areas of the face and maybe the legs and stuff and the arms that don't have really nicely done skin texture, but I think it's basically good enough. It's really not like they needed this to be extremely highly detailed. This isn't some very expensive high-end collectible of the Jurassic Park Velociraptors. For what it is, I think it honestly is perfect as far as the sculpt and detail that they've included, as well as the wonderful paint application. And then of course you've got those incredible looking eyes there with the beautiful gloss, adding just a little bit of a dose of realism for an otherwise over-exaggerated, very cool Jurassic Park style Velociraptor. The base itself is also really quite cool, has a very nice gravel type of an appearance to it. The logo on the front of the base also looks really cool and helps to provide a very nostalgic feel to the entire set overall. And then you also, of course, have the addition of the very cool spoon, just kind of throwing you straight back to the kitchen scene in Jurassic Park. So this entire thing, honestly, is awesome, and I am a huge fan of this figure overall. I really do want to get a hold of the Tyrannosaurus Rex as well, and if I do, I will be sure to review that on here as well. So if you do want to pick this up, the only place honestly that I know of to purchase this is on BigBadToyStore.com, and I will include a link in the description that is exclusive to this channel that will take you straight to this Velociraptor on BigBadToyStore.com. So if you are in fact interested in picking up this awesome Velociraptor, I think it costs somewhere in the range of $30, so it's not a bad price at all for something that is as sizable and as really cool as this. Make sure you head down into the description, use the link I provide for you to head straight over to Big Bad Toy Store. That will take you straight to this area where you can pick up this or the Tyrannosaurus Rex right now. So again, check the description, head on over there and buy this amazing looking Iron Studios Minico Velociraptor from Jurassic Park. But before you do that, don't forget to please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.